Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I'll have a guest on from Charles Abbott & Associates, who is our building official here with the City of LaGrange. So stay tuned for my interview coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with our building official who is outsourced to us through Charles Abbott & Associates. I have the pleasure of sitting down with William Hart, also known as Will. Will, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Al.
Well, Will, it's been about a year now that you've been here in our building here. I've got a chance to know you. We work very well together. Tell the public a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, though.
Okay. Will Hart, 41 years old, originally from Columbus, Georgia. Okay. And just happy to be here in the city of LaGrange working as a building official.
Well, very good. Like I say, right down the road, Columbus, Georgia, got you guys up here and doing a fantastic job. And let me ask you, your title is building official. What does that mean, and what does that mean? And I want you to talk a little bit about why do we have building codes too, if you don't mind.
Okay, absolutely. The building official, to start with, is the person that's designated as being responsible for the building department. So, when you apply for a permit or you submit plans or drawings, those things are brought to my office, and either I perform those plan reviews or either somebody under my authority would provide that review, as well as those inspections that are associated with that project. Okay,
when you talk about a review, what are you guys looking for, and why is that important in today's society?
Okay, obviously we're looking for code compliancy. So what that means is there's a minimum threshold that's set forward, and it's the absolute minimum requirement that's associated with compliance in building codes and standards. The question you referred to earlier, why are the codes in place? Typically you've had a disaster of such, and you look back in, maybe around 1915, 1917, there were some significant fires in the Chicago area. That really spurned the need for building codes in America. Some of those fires were burning for 3 or 4 nights, and a lot of loss of property as well as loss of life. So building codes really play a factor in being able to protect loss of life and loss of property.
Okay, all right. And so many times, and you guys have come in and we've done a great job of streamlining some of the processes, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But I'm a property owner, and I own a piece of property, and I got a shed out in back that I want to convert to, maybe add on to it and make it larger, maybe put some electric to it and stuff of that nature. Do I need a building permit for that?
Well, the question is, it's sometimes yes, sometimes no. Typically, if you're going to add electric to a building, something of that nature, you would need a permit.
Okay.
That's, again, we go back to, loss of property and loss of life. Anytime you energize a building, it needs to be installed typically by a state licensed contractor. There are some loopholes as a property owner that you can do some work on your own property, but you would have to come in and sign the homeowner affidavit stating that you were the one that's living in this property and also the person that's going to be responsible for that work.
Oh, okay, all right. So if I'm interior my home and I'm going to take out some sheetrock that got wet, I'm going to take out a little bit of sheetrock and paint. I'm not doing anything structurally. I can do that without permits.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. You can. You can do that work. Typically painting, cabinetry, countertops, tile floor, stuff like that. As long as you're really not getting into the structure or any of the electrical, plumbing, or mechanical systems, gas piping, those things are permitted work that are required to have permits. Okay.
And you mentioned a moment ago about energizing electrical, plumbing. Those have to be done by a state licensed contractor. Homeowner can't do that.
That's right. Well, unless you're living in the property, you can take that responsibility to do that. You would have to sign that homeowner affidavit to be responsible for it. Some of these things that you brought forward, we've really spent a lot of time updating our website, and we've also submitted prepared forms and documents. A lot of this stuff, the questions and answers, frequently asked questions, are available on our website for citizens and contractors alike. So this will take out a lot of the concerns when you come down to the permit office if you were looking to find out whether or not you needed a permit. These forms are available online and can provide a lot of information.
Very good. Because so many times, like I said, property owners, we feel like it's our property, we can do what we want to. And we're not even get into the zoning aspect of it, because that's a whole nother ball of wax there. When we talk about permits, and you say come down to the permit office, and a lot of this information, as you stated, can be found on our website. But typically, what kind of a range of permitting costs? Can you give us an idea what that looks like?
Absolutely. Well, typically, if you're just doing trade work, which is plumbing, electrical, mechanical, or gas, those permits have a base fee of $80.
Okay.
And then they're also associated a $5 fee per $1,000 of the value of the work. So any permit that we issue is based on the valuation of the work.
Okay.
This way, if you're doing $1 million worth of work and you're doing $1,000 worth of work, obviously the permits are going to be a little bit different in valuation.
Okay. All right. Very good. And can that information be found on our website as well?
It can.
Okay.
There's a general construction cost calculator that will provide you a general range of what the permit would in fact cost you. Now there's some other associated costs, administrative fees as well as plan review fees that may not be calculated in on that in that configuration on our website.
Okay.
But it
generally
varies per project, but it will give you a good idea of a range of what it would cost.
Okay. Now let me ask you, because I know that commercial plans are going to vary from the type of commercial development that's being planned, and then residential plans are going to be different too. Talk about commercial plans. What if somebody's doing a commercial project? What are some of the things that you all look for, and what's required for them to submit to get approval?
Okay, so if it's a new common development or something of that nature, obviously, there's a civil review that goes beyond just my office. That would come through all the utility departments in the city, as well as our engineering staff that Charles Abbott provides. So there's significant detail in that, and then once the civil drawings have been approved, we start moving to the construction drawings. Varies on the project, obviously, whether this is a new development or an alteration, but typically we're looking at all systems: electrical, mechanical, plumbing, gas piping, as well as the structural integrity of the building.
Okay, all right. Now I want to build a single home. What plans do I need to submit for that project?
Okay, on all projects, we're asking for 2 copies of the building plans as well as an electronic version of the plan.
Okay.
If you're building a brand new home, you would need a site plan showing the location of the proposed project on the lot, as well as building plans, architectural plans. And let me clear that up, they don't necessarily have to be stamped by an architect if it's a single family home.
Okay.
But there are projects once you get a little bit further in detail where an architect is required.
Right. Okay. Very good. So basically, it's simple. I mean, it's an easy process. Sounds like, and once you get your plans reviewed, approved, and everything, you guys sign off on them. Of course, I want to talk about inspection, because a lot of times people get into, well, I got my approval, but they also need inspections, right?
That's correct.
Talk a little bit about what goes in the various inspection stages.
Right. So we have recently, as you know, we've upgraded our inspection process. All inspections are submitted via email to the City of LaGrange website. Okay. Or email, rather. And those processes are basically, if you can submit your inspection request at 4 o'clock, prior to 4 o'clock that business day, we will be out the next business day to perform. So the turnaround is pretty quick. Okay. The required inspections are all documented on our permit card. So once you get a permit that's issued, the applicable inspections are provided on that permit card.
Okay. All right. Very good. And the main thing is we need you to get them in and call them in, right?
That's right.
Okay. And one of the things I want to go back to and ask a question about permits there. Let's say, because so many times we see this happen too, a person will start a project and we riding through a neighborhood and we see, oh, wait a minute, there's some work going on there and it's not permitted. Talk a little bit about the penalty that goes along with not getting your permits in the proper time.
Right. So the city has a policy that if you're caught working without permits, under the first, you will be given 1 warning and you'll be cited and asked to get the permits. If you are a habitual violator, it winds up becoming double permit cost. Okay. So any permit that you would buy for working without a permit would in fact be double.
Oh, okay. And typically, I want to just ask, typically, what's the life expectancy of a permit? How long does it last?
So a permit is issued, is good for 180 days,
Okay.
and it's also good as long as work is going on and inspections are being called in. Some of these projects take over a year to develop, and we're not going to expire a permit after 180 days
Okay.
as long as work is going. But if you go stagnant from a period of 180 days with absolutely no work, at that point, those permits would be expired, and you would be asked to renew that permit.
Oh, okay. All right. As we get ready to close out, because we could go on and on, because there's so much that we could talk about, and we talked about projects. Are there any projects that are in the pipeline that you can speak about, things to come?
Yeah, I think the citizens of LaGrange obviously are paying attention to what's the development that's going on. You know, there's a big grocer tenant. I'm not going to speak on exactly which one, but there's a grocery store that's coming to town on Vernon Road that I'm sure everybody on that side of town is going to be very excited for. We've got several restaurants that are coming to town. That's always an exciting event. And then there's also some city projects that the city's reinvesting into the community. I think that the citizens will be very pleased with here in the near future.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of things going on, and I know that our pipeline is filled with various stuff, and you and I, we see it, and the other team members that are very instrumental in review see all these things coming, and it's just kind of astounding to see the things that are potentially coming this way. And again, you know, so many of the information that you're talking about can be found on our website, and I'm going to go ahead and give that website out just in case somebody wants to go out there. It's www.lagrangega.org. Once you get there, go to the community development tab, and there you find a lot of this information that you just spoke about there, Will. And I don't want to make it seem like it's just you, because you have a team that is here in the office as well. Go ahead and mention your other team members if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. As you spoke, we're contracted through the city. We've been here since July 1st, 2021, so coming up right on a year.
That's right.
It's myself here in the office, as well as Alan Brown is one of our inspectors, and Brittany Witt is another inspector. And then we have a team of engineers that are associated with our civil reviews. That's Doug Meanell, Michaela Weston, and Bennett White, and Lisa Copra. So all those are here working for the city of LaGrange right now.
Very good. And I got to give a shout out to my good friend Glenn Gosey.
Oh yeah, and Glenn helps us with some state waters determinations. That's right.
Yeah, Glenn and I go way back, and hold a red card because he did the last class down in Pine Mountain,
right?
And before he got ready to retire. So definitely we were glad to have you all on board, Will, and to have streamlined the process and made it very easy for people to get permits and also to call in inspections. So I just want to thank you for what you all have done, and definitely we look forward to many more years of working together.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
All right, wonderful.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week coming up in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from Charles Abbott and Associate, Will Hart, the building official for the City of LaGrange. He talked about the number of projects that are coming to the City of LaGrange, as well as how you can go out and find more information on our website about permits and permit needs. Also, permit costs. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that if you have any questions, go out to our website, www.lagrangega.org, under the Community Development tab, and make sure you peruse that information there. And by all means, give us a call if you have questions. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this interview, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.